Greetings, everybody. It is King Ruler of PTHD, the Hill PTHD podcast. And just for the record, PTHD stands for Post Traumatic Hood Disorder. There's a lot of traumas in the hood that goes undiagnosed, that plays out throughout our lives. And sometimes we wonder why. We don't know what the reasons are we're experiencing and having the experiences that we have. But if you grew up in the hood, 9 times out of 10, it's the trauma you experienced in the hood. So today we have a very good conversation that I wanted to have with my firstborn, my number one ace boo coon, my son, Karan Franklin. He's just joining me today to discuss a song that I wrote called Gromance, and it talks about being a man, right? It talks about how to be a man and the concept of being a man and how misunderstood we have manhood when it comes to the hood. The hood has a huge misunderstanding of what it is to be a man. And we're going to talk a lot about that. And we're going to talk a little bit about the song itself. Um, it was a very big song for me to write. It came out pretty quickly because it was already inside of me. But it was a huge song for me to write at this time. And I wanted to produce it to the world and show it to the world. But first, we're going to talk about it with my son. Without further ado, here is my son here. His name is Karan Franklin. Ladies, please slow down. I know he's going to be handsome, but he's taken already, so leave him alone. All right.
Greetings, everybody. Hey, everybody.
What's up, man? How are you today?
I'm good in you. Good in you.
I'm good, man. Glad that you can make it. This is going to be monumental. Um, Now, first and foremost, I want to ask you again for your genuine thought. Like, what was your first thought when you heard that song, Gromance?
To be honest, looking at all the pictures you added into the video you sent me, made me think of made me think of you, Dijon, just everything. But also, I was thinking about how you always talk to me about what being a man was being like growing up. How you always ask me those questions, like how you asked me, "What do you think what it means to be a man?" And all those questions you used to ask me, and then also had me think about what Anthony was also asking me and asking you a couple of months ago. So had me thinking a lot.
Mm. And just for the record, y'all, he said Dijon. Dijon is my other son, his brother. And he hasn't been in our life for 12 years roughly now because his mother decided to do something to remove us from his life. So again, that's a whole nother topic because he's going to miss a lot of the conversation that you and I have been able to share, and he's going to have a bit of his soul that's going to be missing that information, and he's going to always be searching for it until he comes back full circle. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to break that yoke, but hopefully he will get past it. You talked about our conversation about being a man. So the first question, because remember, you're not just talking to me and you. This video is going to go to other men or young men everywhere, and a lot of them struggle with the concept of what that is. Truly, they don't even know what that is. So we're going to get in that to that first question, which is to you. Give me your honest opinion of what you have come to the conclusion of what is a man to you in your mind.
Before I answer this question, are you able to play the song one more time, or are you going to do that later in the video?
Um, I'm not able to play it right now because we have to add a clip in, and it's too
Oh,
much.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. But to your question, um, it's a good one because nowadays in this society, people always depict the man as to be the caregiver, the masculine one, as always, the one to take care of the family, stuff like that. And now I just feel like um, men in our society need to learn that we're not always supposed to be masculine. We can we can always talk about how we feel, like how you always told me, because it's okay to talk about how you feel, because that can lead to other stuff that
Mm-hmm.
that can affect the man. And I just feel like when it's hard for most men to be for them to be themselves because they don't know how to. And then by doing that, you have to find out who yourself is, which can be really hard. Like how you used to tell me, you have to find out who yourself is before you're able to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just society messes up for all of us because they just play that certain role on us, which is not true. Cause,
Mm.
but yeah.
Yeah. To be a man in this society is tough to figure out because you do get bombarded with so much misinformation. I mean, the first thing they're going to sell you is you got to get money. That's the first thing. If a man is not working, he's basically useless. If he doesn't have money in this
Mm-hmm.
society, he's basically useless. Now, of course, you got to have money. We're not talking about anybody being broke. That's not the thing we're trying to say. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody doesn't. When I say money, I mean have it in abundance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um,
Right.
and everybody's not going to be rich. That's just a reality of the world. Like, no, everybody's not going to be a millionaire. Um,
True.
so some people are going to have to work that 9 to 5. But why is the 9 to 5, especially in today's time, when it comes to a man, why is that man working a 9 to 5 looked at in a negative light for some weird reason? Like, it's really it's really like we have this big, huge boulder on our shoulders that we have to carry that nobody else has to. And it's nowhere near. There's no empathy, there's no understanding. People don't even try to go through that process to try to figure you out. Are
Mm-hmm.
you supposed to be rich or should you not? Like, again, it's women that's not ever going to be rich, but we're supposed to all come and build families. That's what we all have a duty to do. And it doesn't take you being rich to take care of a family. Now, I know you've probably heard this before too, because you talked about emotions a little bit. I remember when you were little, you did not want to talk about nothing. Like, getting you to talk was like pulling teeth. I was like, what is wrong with this boy? We used to go back and forth with that. But now you opened up a lot more as far as being able to speak and express yourself. What do you think brought that change on for you?
Mm, to be honest, what brought that change to me was, I'll say, before I got with my girlfriend now, I was doing some readings, and then I'm also now talking to someone at the church I go to because that's also helping me to learn how to speak up more for myself and open my feelings. But to be honest, my girlfriend now is the one who helped me and who encouraged me to open up more because, to be honest, opening up more and communicating more will benefit yourself and benefit your relationship with your spouse and other people. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
helped me. And then also going back to when you used to tell me to open up also helped me. So it took me a long time, a very long time to grasp that and understand it and actually start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And you're a Capricorn, so y'all tend to do that. Y'all tend to close out and go into y'all closet and retreat and not
Hmm.
come out and speak what you really feel. But just because that may be a part of your sign, that's technically the sign of something that you have to conquer in your life. That's what that really means. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean accept it. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm a Capricorn. That's what we do. No, that's not.
Hmm.
That's what you're challenged with in this lifetime.
Exactly, because that can lead to other issues and bigger problems.
Exactly. Exactly. Speaking of girlfriend, there's a African proverb that says a man should not apply for a position that he is not qualified to fill. right?
Right.
Which should be common sense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you're applying to be in a woman's life and you are trying to get this woman to be with you, which means you're putting in the application. That means that you should be a man. You should already know what that is. And you should be on the road, or you should already have landed, right? As a man.
Mm-hmm.
But you should definitely know what it is. Question to you now, 26 years old. What do you feel like a man's role is in a woman's life?
Besides being the provider, I feel like just being there for the women, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to always be a listener, because you know how women love listeners. Also, to be a very good communicator, because nowadays you got to be a very good communicator to make relationships work. Because if you don't talk it, because if you don't like express yourself or talk, it's not going to work, or they're going to just depict you as a how should I put it? As I'll just say not as a man. They'll just say you're not a man because you're not fulfilling that role to be someone who cares about others' feelings and stuff like that. Um, but I just feel like nowadays a man in a relationship just has to be a good listener,
So
and just know when to and also and not to be afraid to open up to express your feelings and love for her also.
so that's what you feel your role is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me express something to you, because you know I'm always going to drop a jewel, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's why I asked that first question about what is a man, right?
Right.
Because that sets it off. If a man knows what he is, then he knows how he fits into the woman's life that he gets with. So first, you got to figure out what a man is, and what a man is, in the simplest terms, is a person that knows their purpose and is tunnel visioned with a little peripheral, right? But he has tunnel vision on that purpose, meaning that he's not going to allow himself to be distracted by other women, uh, overindulging in chasing money, drugs, alcohol, strip club, sports, even, right? Like
Right.
they're focused on what the purpose is. That way, when you meet someone, a woman, what she is gifted in and what she brings with her should automatically complement what you do. You see, the hood, since we're on post traumatic hood disorder, see, the hood looks at it from a different perspective. The hood looks
Mm-hmm.
at it from sex, looks. Most men don't care about her money, but sex, looks, and cooking. They don't go to her character. They don't go to what she does, because guess what? Most men don't know their purpose. They think their purpose is the job that they work, but the job is not even what their purpose is. I did a podcast a few weeks ago with some brothers that's in college. They graduated from Morehouse out here in Atlanta. They came on the podcast and they were all gun ho and happy, and rightfully so. They finished college, good for them. But when I asked them, I said, "So what is your purpose?" They said, "I don't know." I said, "Hold up, you went to college and got a degree and you don't know what your purpose is? That means you got a degree in something that's not your purpose." And that same mentality you're going to take into a relationship with a person, and you're going to be mad because y'all not meshing well because you don't know your purpose and you're the man.
Right.
So if you don't know your purpose, and how is she going to fit in?
She won't.
It ain't about sex. It ain't about her looks. It ain't about none of that. Those are added icings on the cake. But see, the hood got it twisted, and that's why there's so many divorces, so many breakups, and so many baby mamas and baby daddies and people co-parenting, including myself. Like that was my problem in the beginning. I told you, you know how I met your mama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we won't get into that, but I mean, that was kind of like what we were fed. And when you don't realize it until you've got with these people, and then you have a child by this person, and then y'all arguing and nothing's working, and then here we go with being a baby daddy. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It all stems from not knowing what a man is, who you are as a man, what your purpose is, and then anything that comes into your circle, especially a woman, because the wrong woman can ruin your entire life. Look at Dijon.
Mm-hmm. True. Very true.
The wrong woman can just alter your entire life, and it will be your fault because you allowed it in, because you didn't set the barriers. You didn't build your own kingdom first. So there's a lot of roles that a man plays. Number one is the role of purpose and structure. If he comes in and he knows his purpose, he brings structure to that household. He brings discipline to that household, where most times it's not going to exist before he got there. Hope that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
This last question is going to be tricky because in today's society, we talk a lot about the bag, getting the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't watch a TV show, you can't watch anything without people talking about getting to the bag.
Can't even go on your phone without someone talking about it.
Yeah, especially men. And a lot of men think that they are the man once they have money. They think that's the only time they can call shots if they have the money. That means you ain't a man without the bag, bro. Like, what is you without the bag, my man? Like, what are you doing with your life without the bag, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to address that to see what you think that looks like. What is a man if he doesn't have the bag? What is a man then? Like, what does he look like to you without the bag? What would you look like to yourself without money? If you were struggling, you couldn't pay bills, are you still a man? And if so, what kind?
To be honest, I think regardless if you have a bag or not, you're still a man. It's just as long as you know what your purpose is and you know what you're supposed to do in this world, that as long as you know those things, you can be a man without the bag. It really doesn't matter. It's just, society nowadays, men who have the bag think they're the man and stuff because of women. Because you know how when men have money, women go flocking towards a man,
Mm-hmm.
and then when other men see that who don't have the bag, they think lower of themselves because they don't have money. But
Mm-hmm.
even when you don't have money, you can still be a man. All it matters is that you just know your purpose and know what you're supposed to be meaning into this world.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, there's a reason why all men get haircuts, make sure their car is clean, keep fresh clothes on. It's because they feel like anything outside of themselves is where the value lies. And the question is, does women see it that way? That's the real question. And obviously they do. It's a lot of people who do these. I don't know if you've ever seen these prank videos on
The
social
gold
media.
digger
The
prank
gold
videos.
diggers, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Where they just roll up in cars and girls don't want to talk to them at first, but then when they see the car, they automatically run and chase after them and throw them everything they ask for, right? Because he has a car. But the main thing that they're forgetting is who is this man? And it seems like the purpose and the character of a person is completely out of the equation. And that's why the hood suffers to me. We have a lack of discipline when it comes to things that matter in the hood. Now I'm speaking from experience, not from an outside perspective or narrative. Now, I know you didn't technically grow up in that environment, right?
No, I didn't.
Right. So, and that was on purpose. But At the same time, you are still affected by it. You know why?
Why?
For the very reason that I wrote that song. Like me growing up there was a lot to do with how I raised you and your brother.
Okay.
Like the shortness, the the pretty much with lack of empathy, pretty much like that be tough, don't cry, get it done. Um all of that energy comes from the hood because
The-
every majority of people in the hood are on survival mode. And when you're on survival mode, like you're stressed out. And when you're stressed out, you lose access to knowledge and not knowledge, but rationale. And your
mhm.
responses become more emotional. And the more emotional your responses are, that becomes your norm and your normal way of responding to things. It becomes your way of life, so to speak.
Right.
So I was raised under that stress in the hood of being broke. My mother was a county recipient. I went to school with $2 a day, and I had to have that $2 all day.
Mm.
I'm talking from 8 o'clock in the morning until we got out of practice at 6:30. How did I survive? I have no idea, but I had to hustle and do other things in the meantime. Um, I won't speak on that right now. You saw it in the documents though. So, so because that's where it began for me. So, but when you're in that environment, like I said, you're under stress and you don't have access to knowledge because we don't understand how the brain works. So
mhm.
if let's take a man, he doesn't know who he is. He's in this stressful environment called the hood. His household is impoverished. His neighborhood is impoverished. Everywhere you go, there's either somebody fighting, getting killed. You see hookers and prostitutes. You see drug dealers and drug heads. The only sanctuary you technically have is a basketball court or a football field. That's pretty much all you have, right? So,
Right.
or or school, if that's your thing. So, when you're under that pressure, you create this program in your head that this is what life is because you haven't seen outside of your neighborhood. So now you grow up. Watch this. You grow up and you have a child at 24 years old. You still ain't learned who you are yet.
Mhm.
And this child's going to grow up outside of the neighborhood that you grew up in, but you are raising this child with the mindset that you once had or where you came from.
Mhm.
Again, with the same mindset of no purpose. I didn't have a purpose at 24. I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just surviving like everybody else. But I got to try to make sure that you find something in life that you're supposed to do. How do I do that if I've never seen it?
Mhm.
I've never had a father, tell you the truth. And that's why I fought so hard for you and your brother. I didn't have a father. I have one. He's still alive to this day. But I didn't have him. My program is I don't have a father. I'm alone. There goes abandonment issue. So that creates anger. So when I'm talking to you and your brother and y'all not appreciating it, it sparked a hot button of anger for me. Like, how do you not appreciate this? And I'm here. Like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
Because I didn't have it. But it doesn't mean because I didn't have it, I get to enforce what I feel on you. Because you're your own man. You got your own feelings and your own needs. I'm not. You're not exactly me, but you are me, right?
Right. Mhm.
So that part of me coming from that ghetto is what I enforced on y'all, which is like I wrote in the song "Romance." I hope this is making sense to you,
It makes
right?
sense. Mhm.
So that's why it's best to we need to identify that because it's technically for a person like me coming from that environment, I had to redefine that. I've been up and I've been down. But when I've been down, I thought less of myself. You walk with a different bop when everything is cracking, right? You got the car, the girl, the house. Like you walk with a different bop, but when things change, do you still walk with that bop? The answer should be yes, but it hasn't always been
Mm-hmm.
for me. You know what I mean? It hasn't always been for me because I was always thought that I just wasn't that dude if I didn't have it. But now I understand who I am. I don't need a haircut to feel like I'm that dude. I don't need, I don't need all that. I can go without a haircut for 2 weeks and wouldn't care. Go get a cut and be right back to the same old thing. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what car I'm driving. Uh, I'm still gonna be me. It don't matter if my bank account is low. I'm still gonna be me. Everybody is, as long as you're on your mission and you're on your purpose. The purpose doesn't mean you're gonna automatically be rich and stay there. The purpose means you're gonna be learning your lessons and you're gonna have some peaks and valleys in the middle of that. You got to still maintain who you are in the middle of all of that. Did you know that 98% of all traffic tickets issued end in conviction? Even if you hire a lawyer. Once convicted, you can end up with points on your driving record. Your insurance rates are going to shoot through the roof. Oh, and don't forget about the fine. If you don't pay the fine, your license gets suspended. So, are you ready to dodge the charge? Then you must do something different. Get the facts on how to properly contest your traffic ticket. Go to ticketfacts.com right now. Tickets like speeding tickets, suspended license ticket, cell phone tickets, insurance tickets, registration tickets, anything with a ticket, you can beat it. Want to dodge the charge? Then go to ticketfacts.com. That's ticketfacts.com or call 866-932-9008. That's 866-932-9008. We share the facts because we've been where you're at. So click or call now. How deep is your hood? Now, we know you didn't come from that, right?
No, I did not.
But I want to see.
I'm an Orange County kid.
Question number one, and how we do it is we got a phrase versus another phrase. You let me know which one you gravitate to the most. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, we just talked about it, so I probably already know what your answer is going to be. But the bag or purpose?
Purpose.
That's my son talking, y'all. Don't worry about it. All right. The next one. The gym or a bottle?
Gym.
Okay. A job or business?
Business.
Does she have to be sexy or sapiosexual? Do you know what sapiosexual means?
No.
Sapiosexual means a person that's attracted to intellect.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say sapiosexual.
I see. All right, last one. Respect. Is respect more important or practicing humility more important?
Respect.
He got the first one wrong, but hey. That's hood right there, baby. See, that's how hood seeps into everybody's suburbs and everything else, right? It's how the hood seeps in and destroys. Well, man, thank you for joining me today,
No problem.
Karan. This was
Thank
fun.
you for having me.
This was fun. I'm gonna bring you back on sooner or later whenever you're not working these graveyard shifts. But we're gonna bring you back on. I have a lot of young cats on the podcast with me. I try to talk to more young men. I know you're not hood, but you are technically an ideal of what they can see, of what they can. Just because you're in the hood don't mean you gotta be hood. Like that's just an environment, and they need to see more people, that has the demeanor that you have, that has the drive that you have to succeed in your life. They need to see that without it being coming from this hood verbiage and this hood background. So it's cool that you're not. So I'm gonna invite you back on. You can help shed some light on some issues and help your dad out.
I will.
All right, y'all. This has been PTHD. I am King Ruler. That is Karan Franklin, my son, my firstborn. We give thanks for everybody watching. We will see you soon on the next episode. I shizzle, I shake.
See you, everyone.
Have an E-Ray day, y'all. Karan, Dijon, I would give my left arm to Quantum Leap till the day y'all were born. There's a few things I would like to rewind. Omo, I wish life had slow-mo. Look how fast they grow though. Quick pose for this photo. I wish I could click my heels like Toto. Take us back like DJs rewind timeless tracks. Got two sons, to each one goes. You can reach them. I got goals too. I wanna make peace, sons. As a single father, it was a little harder for me, cause I'd never seen a role model of masculinity. Sorry for imposing on you the toxicities handed down to me of how a man should be. Get money, Mac honey, suck it up, never cry. From my lips to y'all ears, that's a lie. Along with Santa Claus, violence solves all beefs. So I wrote this song to release the pain, the shame. Please, Lorenz, sang.